would you have changed something now going back to day one and the way that you were building it and doing things, and obviously so many lessons learned? I did mention failures, but I'm actually trying to change also my mindset around failures rather than it being also called a failure. That I'm calling the now experiment. So I'm actually experimenting in life, and then some of those experiments turn out right, some don't turn out right, but then it's all a lesson, right, in the end. So going back to the early days and now reflecting on your 8-year journey, is there something you change or you do differently?
You as a human being, you regret a lot, right? You tend to regret. So I should have chosen this. But once you are in the startup, like entrepreneur, you guys are young, so you may fail and you can work for like another big enterprise. But I opened my company pretty late, right? Like 8 years ago. At that time already, so many people were saying, you cannot fail in this. But I was thinking about opening up my own company. But at that time, 3 of my college buddies gathered together. So my best buddies. So one is one of the top 5 AI. He's still our CTO. So AI side, he is he is a professor right now.
What is it? I think we need to grab some more.
We need to, yeah.
On the top of the table, there's like the glass. My colleague's top of the table. Or he got it. Thirsty. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. I get thirsty too. Yeah.
So like 3 of my college buddies. So the other one is industrial engineer. He was my roommate at the dormitory. So we gathered together and then we decided to open up a company. But they were really into it, I thought, but nobody invested. So I was the only one invested into it. So I do not have a co-founder. That's what I want to change. And then, the flip side is I asked so many co-founders and CEO, and they were saying, hey, Sang-Woo, you are on the better side. You don't know how much argument do we create inside among the co-founders. And then actually for the VCs or investors, if they see like 3 guys opened up a company, and then if their shares like a 33%, they will have one person dominating the share. So that's good and bad. But if I have a chance, and then another thing, I would rather do something else is, I'm trying not to regret, but of course, you regret, right? And then, when I was thinking about opening my company, and I had a couple of interviews going on with a public company in Korea, like Kostak, like a Korean version of Nasdaq, the companies. That's a salaried CEO, right? So, and then, a couple of them, and then I was thinking, oh yeah, so 2 or 3 years, I can be fine, right? And then what? If I sit up all night, all through nights, and then the equity goes somewhere else, right? Right now, I can sit up all through nights because it comes into Merisepians, which is not my company, but I have a significant share. So, but when somebody comes to me, hey, Sang-Woo, I'm thinking of opening up a company, and I'm asking them, hey, is there a company who pays you $1,000 per month? And he says yes, then stay there. That's what I'm saying. Because it's so hard. You sleep on work, right? Especially the funding. The funding, when the funding is done, what's next? You have to recruit. And nobody wants to come, right? And when I was opening up my company, I thought, all the top schools will apply for my company. No. And then they come. They don't stay. Because Naver, Google, or Amazon, these guys are stealing my employees. Because they know they are well trained. So it's constantly, right? Every night, So, but if I want to change something, co-founder kind of system or legal fee kind of thing, instead of like my dictatorship. So I want to try something like that, so that sometimes when I'm hitting the block or wall, I want to have somebody who's in my shoes. So, but it's good and bad. Make sense?
Thank you very much. All right, so several days we already received the questionnaire that we are going to talk about today. And a few days ago, I received these questions, and this part, it made me insomnia again. So because I started to think about what are the things that I regret in this company, and then it goes like more past. It ended up my like kindergarten ages. So I would definitely say that we are in the startup industry, right? So I believe that in a startup, the CEOs or the director levels, even for the manager levels, the most things that we have to have is that flexibilities. I think we need to become a closer rather than regret whatever happened in the past. Life is the event of unexpected events. So I think that rather than regretting other things that we happened in the past, rather, when you see something, when you make the decision, it's already done. So just let it go and let's become the best closer in the market. I think that's the only thing that I could tell you guys today.
Thank you. And we touched upon quickly, so you mentioned the expansion to Thailand. Can you share a bit about more about your experience entering like global markets? So where do you guys operate today, and how do you do that? Like expanding from Korea to Taiwan, and then we'll touch upon Saudi. So maybe you can dig deeper there.
All right. So this one I can really definitely tell you guys very interesting point, because since I'm not a CEO of this company, I'm a VP, which is also an employee. So I have experienced some of the Korean startups as a director level for the global expansions sectors, and I have realized that a lot of CEOs, I'm not sure about Saudi, but in Korea, a lot of CEOs thinks that they can actually work remotely in Korea and do the global expansions. And that's why most of the startups, they're starting their global business with the Southeast Asian country, because it's nearby Korea. It's only 4 to 5 hours flight. But for the expansion, I think it's still, again, the business between human to humans. So you have to keep, see their face to face, have human interactions. So that's the only thing that we can actually expand to the global market or any kinds of new markets. For us, Duat, before I was joining this company, there was another guy who was in charge of the global expansions. He was just sitting in the office, doing his ass on the chair for 1 year, never left the country, and trying to do everything by video call. Nothing happened. But the first thing I did when I joined this company was that I told my CEOs that there's only terms that I can join this company, and is you have to send me to Thailand for at least 3 months or maximum 6 months. And within that time, I would definitely sign the hotel. And he actually agreed with it, and that's how I ended up joining this company 2 years ago. And then I flew there. I was just sitting in the hotel reception every single day and just working there. Keep saying hello to the hotel front desk, whatever, the waiters. And now, after seeing that so many different times, it started to have the curiosity. Mr. Wood, why are you here every day? Oh, actually, our company is doing something. Why don't you just read this first? So I didn't even give them our introduction on the first day. After 1 week, I gave them an introduction. It's like, please read, and if you're interested, let's talk about it with your boss. And that's how it actually happened. So what I'm saying is that you really have to be in the market if you want to do the global expansions. For you guys, if you are interested in the Korean market, I think it will be best to be in Korea, like best the longest time as you can, and then make some human interaction with us or any kind of people in this market.
Amazing, thank you. And Sam, how about you? Have you done some global expansion so far, and how is that working for you?
Actually, it just happened naturally because when I started my company, I did have a good reference from Sharp Hospital in San Diego, and then it took long. It took almost like 10 years to get the IRB done, but still, that was good reference to tell everybody. Because when Mr. Biden invited our former president, and I was one of the 200 companies accompanying him to the White House. So that kind of helped that way because I worked for some U.S. companies. And then with Taiwan, it's this year we got nominated as Fortune USA's top 40 healthcare innovation. Just in this August, and then in August, Fortune Asia's 100 to Watch, we got nominated. So this thing, I applied for it and I gave a presentation, and then I get interviews and this kind of thing. If you get one thing done, that was back in June. Next to Rise, one of the startup expos, one of the largest in Asia, that was held in Korea. And I applied for it, and then we got the Next Innovator, the award. And after that, that's exposing your company to a lot of other events. They're not searching, but somehow they know your company got nominated for special award. So this kind of thing is really helping. So Taiwan, it's called the TMU, Taipei Medical University and BE Healthcare kind of cohort and accelerator program. So they called me, the VP. And then I was I got the call on Sunday, and then I was really about to ignore the number showing as Taiwanese phone number. But I applied for it, and then there were 10 companies. Most are Taiwanese companies, and then there were only 2 foreign companies. One was me, and because Taiwan, they don't like China, so they had one Singaporean company or something. And then whenever they had a session, last year I went to Taiwan like 10 times. So they did not want me to come to Taiwan, because if I do not go, they can speak in Mandarin. But I kept going. So, they said, oh yeah, you can access it through Zoom. And no, I love you guys, I want to see you. So that went on, and I got that TMU account, and then affiliated the 6 hospitals. And in the Philippines, we just got lucky. At the end of last year, we applied for it, and then we just got lucky. And then, because that was, as I said, I'm just looking at the advanced countries, but we just got it. So it's once you reach a certain level, to add on to how do you keep your employees? So I was asking that question to some of the VC analysts, and they said, hey, you have to become famous. Is that the only way? There are other things, but you have to become famous. But not that you want to be in the TV show or you want to be a singer, not that way. But you have to be constantly letting others know about your company. So it's just, sorry, it's common sense, but I cannot say anything else.
No, and these are, it's a straightforward message, and usually when people talk about Saudi, they usually mention that it's a lot relationship-based, and you need all the face-to-face time, but I think it's kind of a universal practice that, whether we're talking about Thailand or Singapore, Korea, I think that just the human interaction is something that you really cannot either speed up or replace with something else. We didn't share that question, but you were talking a lot about the team now, and our founders are really very curious about the hiring process, how that goes. So how do you, number one, find your great people, and how do you retain them?
So I already mentioned about our chief medical officer. So it took, for me to, I went to hiking. So the Sorak Mountain is one of the best known mountain in Korea. And Sorak Mountain, Gongyeongnungsan, it is called like the dinosaur. It looks like dinosaur, but it's 14 hours hiking. So it's over 1,000 meters, and then you have to go all the way down and come up, and then it's like 3 times 14 hours. I'm telling you. So you're getting into the bus at 12 o'clock, and then you get there at 3:30. But a lot of times they make stops, and they just lights on and everything, and then, so you can't sleep, right? I didn't know. That was my first time. And then 3:30, you go to the toilet. No, actually, he, our CMO, he doesn't play golf. I play golf. And golf is a really good way to communicate, right? And he's talking about the hiking, serious hiking. 12 hours without sleep. And I was ignoring, but at one day, he was saying, hey, yeah, fall foliage, yeah, that's great. And do you want to come? I couldn't say no. And then I went. And then we talked a lot. But I had a seizure, like both thighs, and then on my stomach. That was it. So this kind of thing is just an extreme case, but now he is a CMO, and then I was asking him, hey, can I use your name again and again? And he said, yeah, that's why I am the CMO of your company. And our COO, I was the only one C-level, the full time, for a long time, but about 2 years ago, our COO, we're working with the Supreme Procurement Office, right? Our COO is from that office. So I met him, right after coming from the US, when I was working for a genomic service company. That was my first business trip, and I saw him. He was in a department underneath the Department of Health, and he was so good. So I told him, hey, one day I will have you in my company. And it kept on like 10 years. And then now he is the COO of my company, and he's taking care of a lot of things. That's why I can go overseas on a business trip without worrying about internal work. So just got lucky, and I was really insisting, and I had to pay him like a double of his salary from the government. And then I made a simulation. Oh, okay. If this guy wants this money, salary, what could be my response? I just intervened. Before he finished his sentence, I said, okay, are you coming with that money? He is with me for 2 years. So, yeah, and I didn't have